Welcome to Small Town Pulse with Steve and Melissa, where the stories are good, the coffee's strong, and the charm is home brewed.
We bring you the heart of small town living,
One story,
one sip,
and one beat at a time. Welcome to Small Town Pulse with Steve and Melissa. Today we have a great group working on a big celebration with many special events, our America250 committee. So ladies, would you like to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourselves, and then we'll get some more information out.
Thank you so much for having us. It's lovely to be here again. I'm Catherine Scott with Tourism and Economic Development for the county, and I have most of our America 250 committee here. We are missing our chair today. Vicki Yates-Glisson is off saving the world in Frankfurt today, and we're sorry to be missing her. Also, Joy Thompson is not here today, but she is very instrumental in helping us work with local religious organizations. And then I'm going to let the rest of my crew introduce themselves here.
I'm Terry Cooper. I'm a history buff.
I'm Robbie Travis, also a history buff, and I've been doing a lot of the research for this group.
I'm Bonnie Downs, and I'm a member of the Felix Grundy Stidger Cabin and trying to preserve that cabin.
That's great. Welcome, and thank you for taking your time out this morning to be with us on this gloomy day outside. But
hopefully by the time this airs, we're going to have some spring
yeah, we'll
weather.
have some spring weather. And
Let's just put that out in the universe.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful it's not icy anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll take rain.
Yeah,
over ice, right? Absolutely.
So tell us about the 250 committee and the big 4th of July celebrations that are going to happen here and around the country.
Well, tell us what it is for anybody who might be, under a rock at the moment and not realize what's about to happen this year.
Right. Well, I really identify with that person under the rock, because until Vicki brought this to my attention at a tourism meeting, I had no idea that it was going to be
I didn't either.
the United States 250th anniversary this coming July. America 250 was like, I don't know, it just sounded like another
Marketing.
or a committee to be on that I didn't want to do. but she brought it to our attention, and in her amazing way was able to conscript all of us into getting together to plan this amazing celebration. So what it is it's basically a lens to help focus everybody's attention on the fact that we have this big anniversary for our country coming up. 250 years is pretty exciting. I know people who still talk about the bicentennial celebration for the United States and all the cool things people did for that, joining wagon trains, like running away from home to do that, and collecting like milk glass mugs and all, just so many things. I actually found one of my neighbors has a little side table for her bed, and when you open the drawer, there it says 1776 to 1976 inside it, and it's like happy bicentennial in the drawer. So I mean, I guess people were so excited about that they were putting it everywhere, and we're excited about it. But we're trying to do it more through events for people rather than as many like mementos and tchotchkes for people to buy. So we have put together a whole series of events that started last year and will be going through hopefully the end of the year. We're still getting some of our programs together, but basically every other month we've been having events, free events for the public at the Spencer County Public Library, and also we have done cemetery cleanups. And we have done, what else have we done, Terry, with our cemeteries?
Oh, well, we've done lots with our cemeteries. But I need to talk about Paul Revere riding down Main Street.
Oh, right. Yeah, this was our first.
That was
event.
amazing.
Yes, please, go ahead, Terry.
So we wanted a way to kick off this celebration, get everybody's attention. And Paul Revere's ride, saying the British were coming, happened a year before the actual 1776 events. So we thought a year before that's what we do. And so we got a Paul Revere reenactor and got him on a horse, and he's carrying this big flag, and he's coming down Main Street to the courthouse, and he's yelling, "The British are coming, the British are coming."
Yeah.
It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was very inspiring.
Yes.
And what a cute kid. He was Bonnie's great nephew, is that right?
That's correct.
Yes, and she was able to talk him into it. And we put a hat on him and he had this
Tricorn
great
hat.
coat.
A
And
duster.
yeah, it was spectacular, and it really gave a feeling of kicking everything off. It was part of I don't know if it's a national initiative or if it was a state
Two
one.
lamps
Yeah.
for tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
Two
lights?
two lights for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right, one if by land and two if by sea, right? So it was evidently by sea and in Taylorsville, and so he went running down Main Street, right? But whether or not it happened here or in Boston, it was really exciting to celebrate that and to get the community together to light candles and appreciate where the source of our freedom has come from. Is from people's sacrifices and people working together. So it was really lovely to kick it off with that.
That's funny because I remember that happening on Main Street. I didn't know there was a significance to the time period that it happened though, so that's cool to now know.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know that either, Terry. I didn't know it was happening in that April because of
Yes.
the timing of then the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So
It was
learned something
actually
new
the
today.
250th anniversary of his ride, so.
That's right. Well, I do remember that, but I didn't recall it in tandem with then the timing of the Declaration. So it's even better. What we did was even more relevant. That's
The more
fantastic.
knowledge you have, the more you can be excited about it, right?
Yeah.
So on top of these kind of events that we've been doing, we received a grant from it was from the Historical Society to put together a digital history project, which is available for anybody to see online if you go through the tourism website, which is www.visittaylorsville.com. There is a link there to the digital history project, and it's available for teachers to use, for people to look at home on their tiny screens, or you can put it up on your TV if you have a smart TV, and you can see what really is the bulk of what we've been doing, which is research. So Robbie especially has been spearheading our original documents research, where she has developed a process for deciding if someone is legitimately a Spencer County related veteran of the what am I trying to say? I'm losing my words here. Revolutionary War, right? That war, that version, that thing
Kind of
that
a
we've
big
been
deal.
working on for months now, right? I think I went over with my one more cup of coffee for an hour. So Robbie, would you like to take a second to talk about your process for identifying these veterans?
Sure. When we started out, we had a couple of different lists with anywhere from 5 to maybe 30 men on them. And we knew that there were more, so we kind of got together, brainstormed, where can we find these gentlemen? So we thought, hey, the census would list. So Spencer County became a county in 1824. So the first census that we had was 1830. So we basically went through that census and found all of the men that were of the right age. And then we just started researching each of them. And that's we are at almost 70 men right now. And I think we know where 8 to 10-ish are buried in the county. So that's been really neat. I mean, I was born and raised here, and I did not realize that there were that many men that were part of this war. So it's been very educational for me. So,
Robbie, there had been like a previously adopted list that people had used over and over and over for years, right? Had been like published. It was in the library. How many veterans were on that list? Do you remember?
I mean, there are maybe 5, 6 lists.
Yes.
I mean,
okay.
they start out like one list has 5, and then I think there's one that we found that maybe had 32 on it. But these are men that got pensions, not men that served and didn't ask for anything. And there are a lot of those, so,
Wow, evidently.
yeah.
So what we're doing here really is looking at our history from a completely different angle. And so based on people's previous findings, there was certainly a large contribution of people who participated in the war, but finding almost 70 is pretty unprecedented. It's especially for a county of this size, right? It's spectacular. We did find out something cool that was the reason why, right? Is the land.
Yes, we found a map,
Mhm.
and it said, veterans land here, X marks the spot. And so that's why most veterans came here after the Revolutionary War to settle, because they had put aside a reserve of land in this area.
And they were being paid for their service in the army by being given land, right? Okay,
Yep.
making sure.
Our
Not
country
necessarily just
didn't have money to pay them, but we
Right.
had lots of land.
Yeah.
So that's how they were getting paid.
And how much land you got depended on where you served,
Mhm.
you know, what level of service and how long you served. So, you know, for everybody it was different.
That's pretty incredible. And because of that, also, what's wonderful is that as we've been identifying this list of men, so many of the last names are still here, right? It's
Oh, yeah.
incredible to think that the stock of the people of this area came from these amazing soldiers who came here. They sacrificed everything. They waited to be paid until they could be given to them in land. I mean, how do you survive on a promise of land? I think it's amazing that they must have been really stout people, right? Really strong and
Raising their crops.
raising their crops, right? Right. You know, I wanted to ask you, Bonnie, the land for your farm, was that given to your family as part of
A land
a
grant?
land grant? Do you know?
No, it wasn't. We had the deed to our farm from 1791.
1791, okay.
And so it tells there who we purchased the land from.
Oh, okay.
Our
That's very
ancestors.
interesting. So then your husband's ancestor, who was in the War of 1812, right?
Yes.
He must have just been paid.
Yes.
Wow, lucky, right?
Evidently.
That's very fortunate, right?
Terry, do we know where the land that was originally part of the land grant that the soldiers received, do we know where that is today?
Yes, yes. So,
X marks the spot, right?
I've been working on a cemetery. It's called the Carlin Cemetery.
Okay.
And Peter Carlin served in the Revolutionary War. He was involved in the siege of Charleston, and General George Washington surrendered our troops, gave up our troops, and everybody was loaded onto prisoner of war ships in the Charleston harbor. None of those men made it off those ships. They all were buried in the Charleston harbor. Well, after the war, Peter Carlin's brother went back to Pennsylvania and got Peter Carlin's family, brought him here to Spencer County. And with the land grant that Peter Carlin had, it was 1,400 acres.
Oh, so this is significant land
Yes.
they received, okay.
It encompassed all of Taylorsville, all of Elk Creek, huge area.
Okay.
And then when he sold it off to Jacob Yoder. He sold it to Richard Taylor, who then donated it to Taylorsville. So that one is a really cool land grant to look at how and they built a log cabin. In order to get the land, what was the first thing you got?
You had to build a shelter,
Right.
You had to
Put
have
in
so many,
400 acres of
so
crop?
many stalks of corn. I mean, there was a number, I don't remember exactly what it was, but you had to basically improve the land,
Mhm.
is what they called it, so.
So they gave you the land, but it wasn't technically yours until you
Did these things.
Yeah.
Right.
Very
You had the
interesting.
stipulations to follow, so you
Yes.
can keep at it.
Wow, so then if you didn't do all of it, but you happened to have cleared all the trees on the land, then how convenient for the government to take it back. How interesting. Wow, that's a lot of sacrifice to have to put into your
And
land
trust.
to be able to keep it. How interesting.
Well, you think about too, like, had the war not turned out the way it did, they would have got nothing,
Yeah.
right? Because the
They
British
were
weren't going to give them
considered
anything.
traitors,
Yeah.
Right.
to the treason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were really working on a hope and a prayer
Mhm.
that this war went the way we were trying to have it go.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Yeah, very, so much faith, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and fortitude. That's what really boggles my mind. Is like, how did they stay with this through the time it took to do the war? Then they get their land that they then have to travel to, and I mean, how terrifying to travel out of the civilized area at that time, right, into the wilds of Kentucky, right, to claim your land that probably was so like full of trees. They probably cried when they first got here, like, oh God, so much work to do, right? But they carved this incredible society out of the land here.
And at first they had to survive the trip down here.
Yeah, exactly.
That probably took months, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, covered wagons are so comfy, right?
Right. For long trips especially.
Yeah, so comfy. Can you imagine all of their wives used to their big, wearing their wigs and I don't know, all of the things that you do in the late 1700s, and then suddenly here they are. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean,
Cooking
it's
over
probably
an open
amazing.
fire.
Yeah, right.
Warding off Indians.
Warding off.
Yeah.
I mean,
And whatever it was that killed us on the Oregon Trail, what was that?
Diphtheria.
Diphtheria,
Always,
yeah, always,
That's
yeah.
my
I
favorite
never
thing.
made it through. But that's the thing, you know.
The young people listening are like, the what?
The what?
Oregon Trail. Yeah, it was a
Tell him to
computer
watch
game.
Young Sheldon. He'll
Yeah.
explain it.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at us now complaining about the type of weather we're having, but the conveniences we have now compared to what they had to go through back then.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like,
I wouldn't have made it. I would have been a goner.
oh yeah.
No, I don't know.
No air conditioning and no heat. I mean, that right there.
Miserable.
Yeah.
Electricity, no electricity.
No electricity.
Living like pilgrims. Oh my gosh.
I could do without the heat. The air conditioner is what I need. Well, but there's a trick. I learned that in Italy when I used to go. Marble floors. You won't need AC.
Well, I'll tell you
Just lay
what,
on them.
Yeah.
Sure.
could you handle a dirt floor? I mean, most of
No,
these people
no.
had log cabins with dirt floors.
Yeah.
Swept the dirt floor,
That's
pounded it down.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I used
Just
to-
crazy.
There was a couple of places that I visited and I'd seen them. They had the little dust broom that they made out of whatever it was, and straw and stuff like that. And they're cleaning the dirt floors, and I'm like,
It's dirt.
where do you pick it up?
Yeah.
I mean, why do
Where
you
do
do
you
that? But then, like you said, you pack it in, so that makes sense. Yeah.
You know, I don't think we were planning to talk about this a lot, but speaking of dirt floors, I feel like there's something that's very pertinent to that. The America250 committee is trying really hard to support the Felix Grundy Stidger Historical Preservation
Foundation.
Right, sorry. I get caught up on this last
We
few
talked
words
about
there.
this, Terry. You guys couldn't have made it any longer.
I know, right?
You ran out of words eventually.
Let's just call it like Felix's house or
Yeah.
something.
I like that.
Yeah.
Which has recently gone from dirt floor to an actual foundation and a stamped cement floor that looks just like
Distressed wood.
and it's so beautiful. And so, not that America250 did all of it, but we were participating in a little fundraiser that the community participated in. A quarter at a time raised how much money?
$822.
Right, which is really quite a lot of people participating. We figured the math on that was like almost 3,000 people or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If everybody gave a
giving
quarter.
a quarter at a time, at Country Mart, or where else did you have the jars?
Oh, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
24 different places.
26 different
26
places,
different
Right, and so it was 25 cents for $2.50, and so we were very happy to put our stamp on that to just try and draw some attention to Felix's house. And I feel like we made a small but mighty contribution to that with the help of the entire community. Pretty amazing to see people rally together for something like that. And I would hope that people in the future will keep a lookout and listen out for more fundraising opportunities for Felix's house, because we want to get the roof on. We want to raise the roof. Right? There we go. That's my 90s.
It's a lot.
Yeah. We want to make sure that it is a wonderful place for our children in this community to be able to visit, a source of pride for everyone to know, like, that is our spy who saved the Union right there. And it really already looks so beautiful. It's so homey with the fireplace sticking up out of the middle of it. It's just like, what is that? It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and it makes me want to have lots of picnics there.
Yeah.
So I'll be pushing for that in the future, which
And
maybe we can come back and talk about.
Yeah, for the listeners who don't know about that story, you can listen to it on season 3? Yeah, season 3 of the podcast. I'll post it in the podcast notes what episodes those are. So there's 2 parts. It was so good. So much good information. We had to make it into 2 parts. So we want you guys to check that out if you're not familiar with that story.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fun. I'm going to go listen to it, and I know the story. That sounds great.
Well, when Terry tells it, it's just totally different.
Yeah.
The neat part about Spencer County is you don't think that there's a lot of history here, but when you start digging in, we've got a lot of things went on here in Spencer County. A lot of things that we can be really
Important
proud of.
things.
Yes.
Important moments in time that change things.
Yes. It's
There's really a lot to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And actually, so one of the ways that we're going to be doing that is through the actual July 4th celebration. We have a lot of history built into the celebration, and even a special event the next day celebrating the even more history that is demonstrated through our churches throughout the county. So on July 4th, not only will we have the traditional civic celebration stuff, we're going to have a little parade. I believe we're going to have some fireworks. And
Scott promised us a
I know, right?
fireworks show. Yeah,
That's right. And a hot dog eating contest, bubble gum blowing contest, and
Pie eating.
pie eating. Yeah, we
Nice.
mixed the watermelon seed spitting because we thought that sounded gross. But all of we're doing the eating, not the spitting contest. It'll be fun. And that will be really, I think, a joyful and silly event. I hope that that everybody comes out. I probably will chew some bubble gum, blow some bubble gum, participate in the contest there. But we also have in the Chamber of Commerce Hall, we're going to be setting up a really amazing selection of examples of old time skills. And when you hear me say old, you have to imagine an E at the end of that, like old time skills, right? Because we're going to have things like, I believe, candle making, basket weaving. Bonnie, could you talk us through a little bit about
Soap
what we'll have in
making,
there?
bread making, not glass blowing, but stained glass making.
Oh, wonderful.
Hook rugs, crocheting, quilting.
So for crafty folk who want to get back in touch with their local artisan roots, that will be the place to go and do that. And I think also it will be amazing to, like, I'd love to take my children through there and show them, like, this is actually how things used to be made. Now things like this are frequently made in a factory or they're 3D printed, but you can see a huge difference in quality and also the love that goes into it and the skill that you have to be able to do it. And I think that will be really weird and interesting to my kids. Excuse me. So I'm really looking forward to that. We also are going to have, food trucks and vendor alley. We'll probably have a nice little bar set up by the concert that we're going to be having. So that will be very exciting to have some local music happening. Our judge executive requested a country rock concert, and we are going to deliver. And so we will be releasing who'll be performing here in the next month. And that will be very exciting to share with everyone. I can't wait to tell you, but I'm not telling you yet. Sorry.
Season 4.
Season 4. There we go. Yeah, but put July 4th on your calendar, oh dear listeners. We will be having things happening between 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. with the culminating event being the fireworks. At 4 p.m. we will be having the Little Miss Liberty contest happening, which there has been some information going out around the county about that, some flyers. This is not a traditional beauty pageant at all. It is a contest of clarity and patriotism. So we're asking for the young ladies in our county, age 0 to 12, to let us know what freedom means to them. And there is a link on the tourism website to submit a less than 30 second video of of what freedom means to them, and we're asking parents to submit a picture of their daughter in her most patriotic getup, and if that means that she's, decorated the wall of her room with red, white, and blue, and then stands there and points at it and smiles, that's great. Or if she's got a ribbon in her hair, it doesn't matter. It's not a beauty contest. It's more about enthusiasm, really. And I can't wait to hear any toddlers talk about what freedom means to them. I just can't wait. I think it'll be really fun. We've set it up so that we're asking parents to please submit the video through YouTube and unlisted, so we can protect our kids as they're participating in this. And then they'll get to come at 4:00 on the 4th of July for the reveal of who are our Little Miss Liberties. And there's 3 age categories and then 1 winner overall. And I think it will be really very darling. So hopefully we'll get a lot of positive participation in that. And we can share, what does freedom mean to our little citizens. I think that will be very exciting.
When does the first round of submissions have to be in?
It needs to all be in by June 4th.
June 4th. Plenty of time.
Yeah, which is also the same deadline for people to sign up to have a food truck or to be a vendor a month out. June 4th for July 4th.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else we're doing at our July 4th. We are going to have a brass band performing, but something very, very special is happening at the end of our parade. We will, and it's more special even than the car show that will be happening at the end of the parade, which is a memorial dedication that we'll be doing. And I'm wondering, Terry, if you would like to talk about that.
Oh my
a little
gosh,
bit.
yes. Well, first of all, I need to talk a little bit more about how brilliant Robbie is.
Oh, yes, let's hear that.
We do that all day. So she started talking about these lists that we found that said who the veterans were that lived or died in Spencer County, and we found these 5 lists, and we know that people just kept copying them because there's a Bryant Sloan, but on the first list he's listed as Bryant Stone, and every list thereafter, Stone, 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 Stone. But we know the Sloan family, and we know Bryant Sloan because he was an ancestor of John Lilly. And John Lilly is a historian. Everybody knows that name. He was a historian here in Spencer County. So we know it's Bryant Sloan, not Stone. So we didn't want to just copy the list again. So Robbie says, let's go about this in a backwards way. Let's, instead of just copying the list, let's see who's not on here. And then she started going through these censuses and combing through them and finding the names, and just brilliant. None of the other counties in Kentucky is doing it that way. They're just copying the list and cut and paste, copy and paste. And Robbie came up with this different way of doing things. And instead of 20 people from Spencer County, we now know that we have almost 70 veterans, soldiers from the Revolutionary War that lived or died here in Spencer County. And boy, that's something to be proud of. I'm proud to be associated with Robbie. It's pretty darn amazing.
Yeah.
But as we found this list, we were like, oh, well, let's make this trail through town and people can go and see all 70 where these people are buried. And we thought we'd just go find them and mark them, and that'd be it. And people could go see, if they wanted to see 2 or 3, or if they wanted to go see all 70. But we can't find them. It is very, very hard to find these Revolutionary War soldiers. So whether they were buried in unmarked graves, or whether they were marked with a wooden cross, or marked with just a field stone when they were buried, and then these family plots are family plots on farms. They're not like organized cemeteries. So sometimes we're tromping through fields and finding these cemeteries and crawling under brush, and so we have found a lot, but it has not been the easy task that we thought it was going to be.
I just want to jump in on this really fast because I think something really special about what you ladies are doing is the level of personal commitment. I mean, this is all volunteer work, and I know for sure that Terry and Robbie take each name very personally. The research that they do on a person turns that research into a living, breathing friend of theirs. They know who these men were in a way that you never would get from looking at their name on a page. And so, for instance, we did have an America250 event that was what were we doing with the headstone for
Benjamin
Harrison Carrick. So Terry made it so that we got to attend what felt like the funeral of a Revolutionary War veteran. And you don't get to do that every day because they're already buried, right? But she had a headstone made for where he was buried because there had been no headstone or had been lost, something like that. And the way that she talked about Benjamin was like maybe he was her son, right? And so it all has a very special and very personal feeling to it that I don't think that you would get unless you know these ladies. And so I just really want to impress that on your listeners that we take this very personally, and we're very attached to these veterans. And so we would really love the community's help. If you know where one of our Revolutionary War veterans are buried and it's not publicly accessible, if you would please reach out to us and tell us, because we want to honor that veteran. And if you're not careful, Terry may end up like putting on her boots and mucking through your yard to find it. Yes, you can. If you go onto the visit Taylorsville.com website, there's an email address at the bottom, and it's director@visittaylorsville.com, and it goes right to me, Catherine Scott, and I will forward all that information right over to them, because if I don't, oh my gosh, what will happen to me, right? But we just want to keep this process going. This is just the beginning of what this group is doing, right?
This doesn't end.
No,
on July 4th.
Oh no! It is going to keep going. It is going to keep going. Yes.
We thought when we joined up it was going to be for, just for these couple months. And it's been so much fun and we don't want it to end. So we've decided even after July 4th, we're going to keep going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, America250 and beyond.
Yes.
Right.
I hate to interrupt your episode, but this one's getting a little bit long and there's still a lot of really good info that we want to make sure you guys hear. So we're going to break this one up into 2 parts. I know, I'm sorry. We hate doing it too, but again, we are so excited about the celebration that is going to happen here in Taylorsville for America's 250th birthday. And this committee is so excited and committed to making sure we have a great event, not only on July 4th, but leading up to it. We want to make sure you guys hear all about it. So join us back here next Thursday for part 2.
That's all for today's episode of Small Town Pulse. Thanks for sharing a little bit of your day with us.
We'll be back soon with more voices, more stories, and more of the heart that makes small towns shine.
Until then, keep listening
Keep smiling.
and always keep your finger on the pulse.